Over the past few years, the news has constantly been talking about how our national debt is increasing, and the crisis is still a current issue. But how can we solve this?
The Keynesian model states that if you increase government expenditure, you increase GDP per capita. So how can we do this without increasing tax levels?
We could legalize marijuana, which would increase tax rate, and therefore governments would spend more and help the economy. If we legalize marijuana, we are able to charge a tax on every sale made, just like we do with tobacco.
So here's a supply and demand curve. When we add a tax, supply moves up, and all this area would be a tax revenue. In Colorado, this revenue has increased by 125 million since legalization.
So let's take a look at where tax revenue would be if marijuana would not have been legalized. However, since we legalized it, this is where tax is now in Colorado. This is a huge gap.
Since there's such a difference in the tax revenue, why not see where this revenue is going? Colorado will be using 28% of this to build new schools. This means that they will be injecting $40 million into the economy. 60% will be going to drug prevention and awareness, which is another $85 million going into the economy, and 12.4 million will be spent on healthcare.
All this money will be injected into the economy and help GDP, therefore it will help getting us out of the crisis. Let's take a look at the potential of taxing marijuana. If we take into consideration the annual consumption is 8,700 tons, which is about 852,455 ounces a day, which sells at a cost of $250 per ounce in the black market. This means that the US government could be claiming tax over an amount of $210 million a day.
There are more benefits to legalizing marijuana. The following are some of the ones seen in Colorado. Violence dropped by 2.2%. Burglary dropped by 9.5%. The black market dropped as well, affecting mainly the Mexican cartels. 10,000 new jobs were created in just 5 months. Moreover, let's not forget that tobacco has created 662,000 jobs in the US, and it moves a similar amount of money within the economy as marijuana would. There was also an increase in marijuana-related businesses. And finally, there was also a decrease in the amount of immigrants crossing the border for the sake of transporting this drug, which translates to less money spent in border control agencies.
Despite all these good things, there are still some issues which should be taken into consideration. Number of hospitalizations resulting from marijuana has increased by 82%. Since legalization, they have found an 8% increase in participation, meaning more people are smoking marijuana.
There has been a large increase in suspensions in schools due to the use of marijuana since legalization. There has been a decrease in money spent on cultural spots, such as Denver's National Park.
Colorado citizens have a higher usage of marijuana than the average American, as their usage is 39% above the national average. And finally, Colorado has also seen an increase in homeless people since legalization. So what do you think? Does the good outweigh the bad? Should more countries legalize marijuana? Comment your thoughts below.